Okay, think about this for a second. When you hear the word heaven, what comes to mind? For so many people, it's just this incredibly powerful idea, isn't it? Something that, cuts across all cultures, all times. It brings up feelings of peace, maybe, or destiny. Definitely something unknown, but hopeful. Today, we're doing a deep dive into something really fascinating. Michael L. Matthews' Heaven 7.0 Preface. And this isn't our typical discussion about heaven. It's a very unique, maybe even provocative take. We really want to unpack why Matthews thinks heaven stays so clean, so uncorrupted in our minds, especially compared to, well, all the messy earthly expressions of faith we see. And then what does this version 7.0 thing actually mean for how we understand it all?
Yeah, it's quite something. What immediately jumps out is how he uses these tech metaphors,
Yeah.
things like versioning, operating systems, even source code. But he's talking about spirituality. And it's not just like a gimmick. It really pushes you to think critically about how we process these huge ancient ideas, heaven, faith in today's world. It gets us thinking not just about what heaven is, but maybe how our view of it, our understanding, could be getting a serious upgrade.
Right. Okay, let's unpack that first bit then. He starts by saying words like heaven, paradise, the eternal realm. They just resonate everywhere. He says every continent, every faith tradition, every culture, every language.
Feels like.
This feels like a
Yeah.
fundamental human thing, doesn't it?
Absolutely. He really emphasizes that, this universal resonance, this shared hope for transcendent destiny of peace and fulfillment. And he makes it personal, too. He mentions those, profound testimonies from people near the end, sharing glimpses of heaven. So it's not just abstract theology. It's a real source of hope, comfort, and profound joy, visions of eternal harmony and rest. He even brings in Genesis 1.31, and God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good.
He ties it back to this idea of an original, perfect source code.
That connection to Genesis is interesting, like heaven held on to that original very good state. So why does he think this feeling, this resonance lasts when other spiritual ideas get so tangled up?
Well, he suggests it's because most people keep this optimistic and forward-looking perspective about heaven specifically. It stays beautifully mysterious, a positive, hope-filled kind of mystery, Unlike other things, it hasn't really been messed with or tarnished in the same way. He even throws in that funny line.
Oh, yeah, the beta testing one. Exactly.
Yeah.
I can't wait to experience heaven. I just don't want to be in the beta testing phase.
Yeah.
It kind of captures that desire for something perfect, finished, without all the glitches we deal with down here.
It really sets up the next big point, doesn't it? The huge contrast he draws, this pure, hopeful mystery of heaven versus what we actually see in religion on earth.
Precisely. That contrast is key to his whole argument. Heaven, the idea of it, stays clean. But our attempts down here to, organize faith, build institutions around it, that's where the problems creep in, the bugs, as he might say.
And he really lists them out, doesn't mince words, all the human interference, the corruption, basically. Things like religions, denominations, belief systems, clergy hierarchies.
Institutional structures, he goes on.
Yeah, countless digital idols, false narratives, spiritual scams, human influencers.
Now, he covers a lot. Mega platforms, religious brands, sacred spaces, temples, buildings.
Even political positions taken over faith on earth applications. It's like we've just piled layers and layers onto it.
And connecting that to the bigger picture, he makes a pretty bold claim about Jesus Christ. He says even Jesus, who traveled between heaven and earth, has become a source of division rather than unity in our human network.
That's a strong statement.
It is. He frames it as us interfacing with various religious operating systems and earthly faith applications. And because these systems have been modified, maybe corrupted by human hands, it leads to skepticism toward corrupted spiritual software. It's hard, he argues, to find the original source code of truth when it's passed through so many human algorithms.
Human algorithms. That's quite a phrase for tradition and interpretation.
It is. And the result, hundreds of religious platforms and sects and these 8 major competing spiritual ecosystems that are often adversarial. It's a tech view of religious history almost.
Okay, but using tech terms like operating systems and source code, doesn't that risk oversimplifying something deeply spiritual? How does that analogy really help, or does he address that risk?
That's a really valid question.
Yeah.
I don't think he's trying to say spirituality is just code. It's more about using language we understand today to diagnose a problem. The power of the analogy, I think, is that we get the idea of bugs, of corrupted systems, of something not working as intended. When software is messed up, we lose trust. He's saying human layers have introduced spiritual malware, making things deviate from the original design or source code. So the analogy isn't meant to reduce the sacred, but maybe to clarify the distortions that block our view of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it clarifies the problem rather than simplifying the subject. Okay, I see. So, given all that earthly corruption, what's the implication for heaven itself?
Well, for Matthews, the fact that heaven hasn't been corrupted like this is huge. It's a miracle of divine preservation, he says.
A miracle.
Yeah, pretty amazing when you think about how many groups try to, trademark, monopolize, brand, and monetize their spiritual ideas. He points out that the only real attempts to hack heaven's reputation were these, like, failed predictions about the end of the world, system shutdown dates.
Right, the apocalypse predictions.
Exactly. But even those didn't really damage the overall positive view for most people. Heaven still holds this unique space. It's the one sacred space offering hope, peace, transcendence, reunion with God, with loved ones. It's like its security protocols are just divine, unhackable by us.
Okay, that unhackable nature leads us right back to that title, Heaven 7.0. It sounds so jarring at first. Why put a version number on heaven? What does 7.0 actually mean here?
Right. It's not saying heaven itself is changing versions like software. That's crucial. It's about us, our ability to understand it, to perceive it. He thinks we're in a time when knowledge and revelation are processing at unprecedented speeds.
Processing faster, like information overload.
Sort of, but in a potentially positive way for spirituality. He
Right.
links it directly to biblical prophecies. He mentions Daniel 12.4, many will go here and there to increase knowledge.
Uh-huh.
And also Revelation 10, verses 6, 7, and 10, talk about the mystery of the gospel reaching full disclosure.
Can you unpack those biblical links a bit more? How does he read Daniel and Revelation to mean we're getting a spiritual upgrade now?
Sure. So Daniel 12.4, about knowledge increasing. Matthew sees that not just as, science and technology booming, but spiritual insight too, like a veil thinning. Then in Revelation 10, the angel declares time is ending and the mystery of God should be finished. Matthews interprets finished not just as ended, but as fully revealed, full disclosure, the hidden things becoming clear.
Ah, okay. So 7.0 signifies this era of clearer understanding.
Exactly. As we approach these times, he believes the world's mysteries will continue being decrypted and gain clearer resolution. It's like we're moving from standard definition spirituality to high def. That's the 7.0.
Okay, so it's about our perception upgrading, not heaven changing. We're getting like better spiritual software to see things more clearly.
That's a good way to put it.
And this upgraded view, this 7.0 perspective, it leads him to question what we're actually focusing on, right?
Precisely. He brings up this point about focus, and he sounds almost, amazed by it. He talks about the sheer bandwidth people dedicate to fearing a one-world government, the Antichrist and apocalyptic scenarios, compared to how little time or energy they spend streaming content about God's kingdom promises. He sees a real imbalance there.
It's a strong challenge, but he does say those end-time things might be legitimate and probable. So why shift focus away from potential dangers? What's the logic there?
His argument is that even if those things are real, they should never overshadow God's main plan, which is his kingdom. The prayer, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. That should be the priority.
Okay.
Focusing too much on the negative, the fear, just allocates more processing power to life's dark side. It drains people, he thinks. It reduces their ability to live in the strength and faith and power God intended for them as beings made in his image.
It's about optimizing our spiritual energy for hope, not fear. Choosing where to put the focus.
Exactly. Actively choose hope, choose the kingdom promises.
And he connects this shift and the increased knowledge to experiencing heaven more now, not just later. He mentioned Heaven 3.0 earlier. What was that about?
Right. He briefly references Heaven 3.0 as
Mm-hmm.
an earlier step, an earlier release level maybe.
Mm-hmm.
He describes it as being about helping people see and explore earthly faith in its purest form.
Like stripping away some corruption.
Yeah, think of it like a significant update that started cleaning things up, moving towards more authenticity, less institutional baggage. He doesn't go through 1.0 to 6.0 in detail here, but it implies this ongoing process. Each version, each upgrade gives a clearer view leading up to the 7.0 clarity we're supposedly entering.
So the idea is that heaven's reality is kind of sinking closer to us now, becoming more accessible to our perception.
That's the implication. Not just a distant place, but something we can start to glimpse, to experience aspects of right now.
And what does that high-definition clarity look like, practically speaking?
Well, he says this uncorrupted vision of heaven, boosted by all this increasing knowledge, lets people see heavenly aspects of God's kingdom with high-definition clarity. What that means, I think, is better spiritual discernment. Seeing past the human dogma, the corrupted software to the original source code.
Okay.
Essentially, heaven's purity plus this new knowledge gives us cleaner filters to see who we truly are in God's kingdom.
Our true identity.
Yes, and who God designed us to become. It's about understanding our divine potential. He even suggests this spiritual upgrade 7.0 is running ahead of tech advancements like technology 4.0, implying spiritual insight leads the way.
Wow. Okay, that's a lot to take in. This whole Heaven 7.0 idea really does make you look at a familiar concept in a completely new light. From its basic appeal, why it stays pure, to this idea of our understanding versioning up.
Mm.
It's definitely thought-provoking.
It really is.
Yeah.
Matthew's take suggests that as our world gets more complex, maybe our ability to grasp the divine grows too, if we choose to see it. It's a call to action, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shift our focus from fear to promise and really try to tap into that clearer, high-definition view of spiritual reality right here, right now. It's about embracing the upgrade.
So, thinking about all this, what really stands out to you listening right now? Here's something to chew on. If our understanding of heaven is upgrading in this age of knowledge, what new insights, what features, or maybe bug fixes could this next spiritual version bring to how you see faith, who you are, and maybe even the universe itself?